Okay, so now I have all of the holes marked, all of my end points marked for my star. And I'm going to be using the Silk Lame braid. Normally for a large motif stitch like this, I like to anchor my thread with a pin stitch. But because I'm not sure where all the lines are going to be crossing, it's kind of difficult to determine that. I'm going to begin with an away knot, and I'm going to place my away knot way, way away, because what I'm going to do after I have stitched the first layer, I'm going to clip this knot, rethread my needle, and then make my pin stitch when I can clearly see where it's going to go. This looks like a really, really long length of thread, but trust me when I say it's better to stitch with a very long length of thread, get through all of the layers, and then end off, than to having to start and stop multiple times. It gets harder to find a place to hide your endpoints. And so I've started with about 112 inches of thread in my needle because I'm going to stitch this first layer and then I'm going to stitch the third layer with this same thread. So now I'm going to bring my needle up at 1. Now, don't worry about the thread degrading because you're not entering and exiting the canvas all that much. But there are some things you can do to make sure that your thread stays in good condition. One of those is to hold it so that it doesn't drag across the canvas. And that helps to keep it all together. So this is from 1 to 2. This is going to be 3. And this point is going to end in the same hole where the first stitch ended. With a 12-pointed star, I'm trying to cover all of my threads on the back with threads on the front. And so that's why it's stitched in a particular order. And I'm going to make a series of wedges all the way around. So now I'm going to bring the needle up where the second stitch began at 3. And now we're going to end over here. This is going to be 6. I bring the needle up at the odd numbers and I go down at the even numbers. And here is 7. We're going to end in the same hole here. Now we're going to come back up again in the same hole. This is stitch number 9. We're going to 10. Now we're going up to 11, ending in the same hole. Come up in the same hole. This is 13 and we're going to 14. Each of these points around the star will have a stitch beginning in the point and ending in the point. So there'll be 2 end points in every hole. Okay, now we're over here to 15. We're going to end in the same hole. There's 16. We're going to come up again here. 17, we're going to 18. Here's 19. We're going to 21, or I'm sorry, to 20. This is 21. To 22 and 23, back where we began, to 24. Okay, so this is the first layer of our 12-pointed star. I'm not going to do the pin stitch to anchor the thread just yet, but what I am going to do is I'm going to bring the needle up where I'm going to need it for the third layer. And where that's going to be is 4 canvas threads above 6 canvas threads above this point right here. So let's count 6. Kind of move the thread aside so you can see the canvas threads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where I'm going to bring the needle up. I'm parking the needle on top of the canvas so that the thread doesn't get tangled up on the back. That has to be unstitched later. So let me just double check to make sure I'm in the proper spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm in the proper spot. And now I'm just going to put this thread over to the side, just like that. It's parked on top of the canvas. It won't be in the way of the next layer.